to do is if you could join my Facebook group. If you're not already a member, just jump in there now. I'm just going to share the link in the chat. So with the Facebook group, the really important thing in the Facebook group is we always have replays of these webinars. So today's webinar will be available in a replay later on today. You'll be able to catch it in the Facebook group, and certainly the other thing is all of my past webinars are there as well. So if you want to go back and rewatch something or catch something that you missed in the past, the Facebook group is a great place to start. And obviously, if you have any questions too, there's the community of other artists in the Facebook group as well as myself. So yeah, take the time and join up with the Facebook group if you're not already a member. I obviously won't allow you to join the Facebook group while I'm in the webinar because I can't look at that, but as soon as I get a chance, I'll add you in and approve your entry into the Facebook group. So anyhow, let's get started. Now, this is a really, really, really important topic. And I think it's important because artists are really good at thinking about this the wrong way. And they often go down a really interesting track that sometimes really hinders their progress in building a business. And, for me, art is a vehicle for me to build a business, right? Now, if you're wanting to grow your business, sometimes you need to make business decisions, not art decisions. And we'll talk about that a little bit. But really what I wanted to do was talk about why artists suck at marketing, right? Whether you're a photographer, whether you're a painter, whether you do sketches, whether you're a sculptor, even musician or an author, or it doesn't really matter. I think that all artists aren't great at this, or the majority of them aren't. But I think the reason for it is not that they can't do it, is that they're thinking about marketing in the wrong way. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So let me jump into the presentation so you can see the things that I've got going. Right. So what I want to talk about today is it's not your art that sucks, right? And there is a really simple test, and we'll talk about that in a moment, to find out whether your art sucks. That's the first thing, right? And another thing that a lot of artists really get hung up on is that they worry about their website and they think it's their website that's causing them the issues. And 99% of the time, it's not that either. So what I want to do is discuss why we as artists, and I used to do this too, really suck at marketing, and how you can not suck at marketing in the future. So that's what we're going to walk through, and that's what we're going to focus on today. So, confession time. Now, I did this myself. I spent all of this time building a brand new website, launched it, told the world, and then I thought I'd just sit back and the money would flow, right? And I guarantee you that there are people listening right now that are thinking exactly the same thing. Within days or weeks, they were going to see money coming in the door, and they would be shipping orders out every week. That is an unrealistic expectation for everybody. It doesn't work. It doesn't happen. And I'm going to explain why. But the important thing is to know that because the money isn't flowing doesn't mean your art sucks. It doesn't mean your website sucks. It means that your marketing sucks. Okay? And we're going to talk about that. Because I think that artists really think about marketing in the wrong way. So, the test, and we'll get to that. But, for the majority of people here right now, your art is perfectly fine. It's not your art that's causing the issue, okay? And the other thing which is really, really, really interesting, and it's something that's blown my mind, it's something that I've learnt in the time that I've been doing this, is that you don't need to be an amazing artist to sell or even make a living from your art, okay? There are countless amazing artists out there that are just mind-bogglingly good that have a house full of art that they can't sell. And again, it's not the art that's the problem, right? Now, if you do doubt your art, this is the simplest test. And it came to me from Patrick at Art Storefronts, and I think it is a really, really, really good, simple test, right? If you're worried about whether your art sucks, the question is, have you sold your art to someone you don't know? Okay, so not someone who's a friend or family member or someone you work with or whatever, just someone who's come up to you at an art fair or a gallery or whatever and just bought something because they loved it, right? Now, if that's the case, then 99% of the time, it's not going to be your art that's the problem, okay? Now, if you haven't done that, then you probably need to do some shows, do some live stuff face-to-face, because that's going to really give you an indication if people love your stuff or not. Selling online is harder to get started than selling face-to-face. So if you need to earn money today, you need to sell face-to-face. But if you want a long-term business going to generate you income for today, next week, next month, next year, then having an online business is absolutely the way to go, and we'll go through that. But that simple question, does your art suck? The easiest way to answer is, have you sold to someone that is not a member of your family, is not a close friend, it's not someone who knows you? If you've sold to someone who doesn't know you, then it's not your art that sucks. Okay, that's that simple. So the website is the other thing, and I get frustrated by this every week. Artists are really good at doubting themselves and really, really good at procrastinating over stuff. And they get stuck on the details, okay? Your website needs to do two key things, right? Make it easy for people to buy without having to engage with you. So they can click on it and say, yes, I want this size, this paper or this medium, whatever it is, and I want it shipped to my home. Here's my details. Here's my payment, right? If your website does that, then that is this good starting platform, okay? And if you're on something like Art Storefronts, Shopify, there's a bunch of different platforms you could certainly use. But if you're on one of those platforms, chances are you've got all of those things and your website is functional. Artists do spend countless hours worrying about little things on their website, right? The bells and whistles are just additional tools. The key with your website is to make it as easy as possible for someone to buy, okay? And if they're not buy, so that they can browse and maybe join your email list, okay? That's all they need to do. If they can do that and they can pay without having to send you an email or ask questions or all those things, then your website's not the problem, okay? Yes, your website will continually need work, right? You want to be uploading new work, you might change things, but at the end of the day, the 90% of your website's going to get to 80 or 90%, and it'll never be finished. So just move forward and start marketing, start doing these things. And we're going to talk about, what I think marketing is for artists. And, this is why artists suck at marketing. Okay, so number one, artists are the ultimate procrastinators. We will think, we will ask questions, we will research, we will do everything we possibly can except actually doing the thing we want to do, right? And artists are so good at doing this. Do a little bit of research, work out, make a decision, and then move on, right? Now, if you make a mistake, that's cool. Making a mistake is good because it's a learning experience, right? You're going to make mistakes. People are really, really forgiving. If there's something that's not wrong, if something that's not working with your website, then they'll tell you, okay? Right, so just don't worry. Go for action, not perfection. Because artists are really, really good at stalling and not actually taking any action because they're spending so much time thinking and they don't take any actions. Number three, artists are awesome at looking at shiny new things, okay? There's a new social media platform out there. There's a new website platform out there. There's this thing that you do with Facebook where you've got to do this and it's really cool, right? We get so distracted by the shiny new things that we forget to do the things that actually matter first, right? Now, I'm all good with you doing something that's a shiny new thing, but only after you've done the things that really, really matter for you and your business, Okay. And then if you've got time, do one shiny new thing, not 10, one. Okay. Test that one, see how it goes. Okay. If it works, that's great. If it doesn't work, put it in the bin, move on. Okay. Now, another reason artists suck at marketing, and this is really understandable, is that we'd rather create than sit at a computer. For me, I would much rather be standing on a beach with my camera at sunrise, watching the sun come up over the ocean, than sitting in front of a computer doing work. Okay? But if you want to create a business, you need to spend time marketing. There is no way of getting around that, right? You want to build a business around your art, you need to put time in your day, in your week, in your month for marketing, okay? So make the time for it. Now, you probably don't need to make as much time as you think you need. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit, right? Artists are often... what's the word for it? We're introverts, right? We don't like putting ourselves out there, right? So, everybody's doing the Facebook Live thing, right? Everybody's saying you must do Facebook Lives. If you hate doing Facebook Lives, don't do them, okay? Find something else that works for you. Instead of you standing in front of the camera like I am right now talking to people about your art, instead, maybe what you do is you put the camera on a tripod, use your cell phone, grab your cell phone, put it on a tripod, and you can buy a cheap selfie stick on a tripod, put it over your shoulder, and have it just recording while you listen to some music, whatever it is that you create, and just have it playing a Facebook Live of you creating live, okay? Whether you paint, whether you draw, whatever it is, and as a photographer, like for me, what I will often do is I mightn't do a video necessarily, but I might get my camera out. I've got my camera on a tripod. I'm taking a photo of the sunrise. I'll grab my cell phone and I'll take a photo of my camera in the view of what I'm shooting, right? That's really easy. But also, if I wanted to, I could grab the camera, I could do a Facebook Live, but instead of having it pointing to me and my face, nobody wants to see my face. What they want to see is what I'm seeing. So I turn the camera around and I show them what I'm looking at and tell them what I'm looking at. Tell them what it feels like, what the morning's like, all those sorts of things. So there are ways to do things where you don't have to be standing in front of the camera like I am right now talking, okay? So you can be shy. That's okay. And obviously, artists struggle because there's so much to do. And often we think we have to do a million things. I honestly believe you need to do 2 key things every week to market your art, right? And those 2 key things are really simple. 1, you should be posting on Facebook every day. Now, I believe Facebook is right now still the best platform for artists to sell on, right? If you want likes, go to Instagram. But I'm not interested in likes. What I'm interested in is trying to sell my work. And the best place to sell my work is Facebook, not Instagram. Right? And for 99% of artists here right now, today, that's going to be the case. There's always an exception. That's cool and that's okay. But for the majority of you, the answer is Facebook is going to be the best platform for you to market your art. So post every single day on Facebook. Okay? And the other thing you need to do as a weekly task, and you need an email list to do this, but once you've got an email list, you need to be emailing your list once a week. You need to be telling them a new story about your work every week, right? Because when you do that, people get to know you. And this is what I'm coming to. This is the core of marketing for artists. So we'll get to that in a moment. But that weekly email is the most important marketing task you will do, okay? So let's move on. So how do you not suck at marketing? Right, number 1, and this is so important, particularly for artists, right? People don't just buy a picture on the wall. People buy the picture and the story, right? So you need to get people to know you and your art, okay? People need to get to know the artist just as much as they need to get to know the art, okay? So everything you can do to make that easier for your fans is going to make your life easier. So be yourself and be, if you're really quirky, that's cool, right? You're going to find your people by being you, right? So don't try and turn yourself into something you're not, because if you do that, you're not genuine and you won't sell because people won't believe you. And if people don't believe you, they don't trust you and they certainly won't buy from you, okay? This is the one that a lot of artists struggle with. Be consistent, right? Now, I really mean it. You have to send an email every week, right? Or at the least every second week. And don't just randomly send it. Sometimes you send it on a Tuesday in the evening. Sometimes you send it on a Thursday in the morning, or you send it on a Saturday. Send your weekly email at the same time every week or every second week. So, for instance, with Natalie's emails, and most of you would know I'm running a business for my friend Natalie Jane Parker. She's an Australian wildlife artist. The picture in the middle behind me is hers, with the 3 cockatoos. Natalie's emails go out at 9:45 Monday morning every week. Right now, I'm not suggesting you do Monday morning 9:45. Find a time that works for you and your audience, but be consistent. Do it every single week. Same with the Facebook posts. If you do a Facebook post once a week, or you do them for a week and then you stop doing them for a month, and then you do one and then you don't do them, you're not going to get results. And it's the same with the emails. If you don't send any emails all year and then you send 5 emails out this week because you've got a big sale, right? But you haven't sent any other emails all year round, people aren't just going to buy from you, right? Because they're not interested. All you're doing is pushing a sale. You've got to give them value first. You've got to tell them stories. You've got to help them get to know you. Once you've done that, then you can sell. Okay, so you've got to do that consistent effort, the consistent work every day, every week, every month for an extended period of time, not just for a week or a month or whatever. You need to do it for an extended period of time, and you need to be consistent every week, every month, consistently. And really, you're doing that for years. Okay, you need to be patient. We go back to that story at the beginning, right? You've got a brand new website, you put it up, you've gone live, and nobody's buying anything, right? That's absolutely what's going to happen. That's just the way it goes. You need to be patient. It takes at least 6 months, if not 12 months, to start getting any sales, right? And the reason for that is really simple. Once you understand this, it's really easy. Okay, so if you're at an art fair, you're standing in front of me, having a conversation, telling me about your art. We can make eye contact, you can see hand gestures, you can see body language, you can see all of those things. So it's really easy to create a connection face to face, right? So at an art show, that's really easy, and you can create a connection with something, and they might buy something straight away, or they'll certainly join your email list or take your card, whatever it is, right? Now, the downside of doing that is when you're at an art show, on a big day, you might speak to 20 people face to face. Okay, so that's a lot of work. It's a lot of interaction with 20 people, and you're building those relationships. All right. Now, one, that's hard, and two, you've got to do art shows continuously to be engaging with that many people. But the converse is when you do when you're doing the engagement via email and Facebook and all those sorts of things, right? It's harder to build a connection because you can't look people in the eye. People can't see your body language, all of those things. It's a lot harder, right? So instead, the building of the relationship takes longer. But the good thing about that is that instead of building one relationship at a time, which is the only way you can do it when you're at an art show or a fair or whatever, when you're online, you can be building 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 relationships at a time, okay, by engaging with your audience through Facebook and your email list, okay? So that is the advantage of online, but the disadvantage is it takes a lot longer, okay? 6 to 12 months minimum. For some people, it's even longer, all right? I've seen people not hit their straps until they're 18 months or 2 years in, right? But then all of a sudden they build this momentum and they start selling lots, okay? So you have to be patient, and I cannot emphasize this enough. If you go into small wins, if you're on art storefronts, go into small wins, and you only need to scroll through the most recent half a dozen posts and you'll see a post about someone saying, I've been on live for 6 weeks, I haven't sold a thing, right? That's normal. The problem is people haven't got their expectations set correctly, okay? That is just normal. 6 to 12 months minimum, if not 18 months or 2 years, Okay, just understand that that's the case. My first year, I sold 2 prints, all right, and that was to a friend. It takes time. Okay, you also need to be realistic, and the thing with that is you need to be realistic and you need to set real goals. Okay, so if you have just started your website, if you say that you're going to make 100 grand online this year, that's not realistic. It's not going to happen. My suggestion is, let's just say you sold 5 pieces last year. You sold 5 pieces and you earned, $5,000. Let's keep it simple. Okay, round numbers, $5,000. So for me, my suggestion would be for you to aim for 10,000 to double that this year. Okay, so go from 5,000 to 10,000. Now the but with that is, right, you need to focus. You can't just assume that you're going to get that 10,000. You need to work hard for it. But let's just say you're having a really good year and your goal was $10,000 and you get to it in June, right? So what are you going to do for the last 6 months of the year? You're not going to go, wow, I'm amazing. I've got my target already. I don't need to do any more work, right? That's not how it works, right? You're running a business. So if you've achieved that goal early, and certainly if you've achieved that goal within the first 9 months of the year, then I would double it again, because that last quarter of the year, the October through to December, is the busiest time of the year to sell art. So let's just say you set your goal at $10,000. You achieve that $10,000 in August, right? You're going to double it again, and you're going to set your goal for $20,000. Okay. Now, if you achieve that $20,000 before the end of the year, increase it again. You mightn't double it the next time, but you're going to increase it. You're going to go $25,000 or $30,000, right? But you've got to be realistic. So start simple. How much did you sell last year? Try and double that. Okay. If you miss doubling it, at least you're aiming higher, right? And you're aiming for something that's above what you did last year, right? I would much rather miss a big goal by a little bit than hit a small goal, right? So give yourself a big goal. Double is a good big goal, but it's realistic for a lot of people, especially in the early years of art marketing, right? So aim to double it. And if you achieve that, then increase your limit again. Increase your budget, increase your target, okay? Start simple. Now, be yourself. Help people understand you and your work. The more you can show people how you do what you do, right, the more people are going to engage. Don't overthink it. If you paint, set up your cell phone on a tripod and do a time lapse on your phone. Like this, almost all phones will do that for you automatically, right? You've just got to set it up, right? Take it and just publish that. Tell a little bit of a story through the picture, put a few words to it and say, hey guys, I'm just painting this new work about this. Here is a little time lapse, show you how it's going, okay? That is really, really simple. Certainly any painter, anybody who creates visual not digital art, even a digital artist. If you're a digital artist creating on, say, Procreate on an iPad or something, you can record that and show people how you're doing it, right? As a photographer, to me, I set scene by using things like, showing people where I am using my cell phone, talking about that, those sorts of things. So there's plenty of options you can do, okay? Now, this is the last thing, and I think it's really, really important. Now, as artists, we're not a big brand, right? We're a small brand, and we're a very personal brand because the brand is us, okay? We, as the artists, are just as important to the brand as the art, right? So you don't need to look like you've got this big marketing team behind you and you look amazing, right? I've actually found when I send emails, some of the best responses I get from emails, so replies to emails, are when I send a really informal email. And the way I do that is really simple. So I sit down and think about a particular client who loves my work, and I just write an email as if I'm telling them a story, right? Now, instead of pressing send from my inbox and sending it just to that one client, I then cut and paste that email into MailChimp, and I send it to everybody, okay? Because it's really personal, it's really open and really laid back, okay? And that tends to get the best possible results. So if you want to think about how to write a good email, how to engage with your audience. Don't think about engaging with the 5,000 or the 10,000 or the 300 people that are on your email list. Just think about one person and write an email to that one person, okay? It's a really simple and effective way to get this done. Next, okay, where to save and where to spend your marketing dollars. Okay, I really have an opinion on this, so I'm going to tell you my opinion. I don't, if you disagree, that's cool, but I'll try and explain why I feel this way. Okay, I don't like spending any money on marketing that isn't helping me either build my email list or building dollars in my bank account. Okay, so sales of a product or growing my email list is the only two things I really spend money on when it comes to marketing. Okay, I don't pay for likes, I don't pay for engagement, I don't pay for traffic. Okay, I honestly believe it's a really good way for you to waste your money. Right, and boosting is the same. I honestly think boosting should be called donating to Facebook. For 99% of people that use boosting, you're just wasting your money. Okay. Now, when it comes to growing an asset, your email list is an asset. You own your email list. If you decide to switch platforms, whether it's your website platform or your email platform, whatever in the future, you download your email list and you take it with you. You own that, right? And you'll own that forever. If you spend money growing your Facebook following or your Instagram following, right? Tomorrow, Facebook makes a change and they decide that they don't like the way you're doing something, they can literally instantly deplatform you, right? Which means they just close your account, it disappears, all the money you spent on growing your Facebook following or your Instagram following is just gone, right? There is no comeback. You can't even talk to a real person to engage a person to get them to go, oh, we made a mistake, I'm sorry. It's just tough luck. Right? So you lose all of that money, all of that time that you've invested in growing your platform. So don't do it. An email list is yours. You own it. You always own it. It doesn't matter what platform you're on, you take it with you. Okay? So it's an asset. And in your business, it's the second most valuable asset after your work. Right? So obviously your art, what you create is your most valuable asset. But the next most valuable asset in your business is your email list. Okay, so if you're going to invest in growing something, grow your email list. And I can tell you straight up, if you think you're going to spend your money on building sales, right? You've got a brand new website, you're just going to put it out on Facebook, send people to your website and they're going to buy stuff. It doesn't work like that. People don't come to your website for the first time and buy stuff. They need to know who you are. They need to get to know you. They need to like you. They need to trust you. And in fact, I honestly think that people need to fall in love with both the art and the artist before they will buy. When they do that, they will buy, absolutely. But you've got to get them to that point, okay? So to do that, you need to build a relationship. And that's why the email list is so important, because it allows you to build a relationship over time through you telling stories on a weekly or at least every second week basis, okay? And your email list is where the majority of your sales will come from, okay? Now, I saw something only recently where an artist was talking about, why would I invest money in growing my email list? I never open emails. It's just a waste of time. And I get all of these marketing emails every day. I never open them and I don't buy, right? That might be your opinion and that might be your experience with email, but I can tell you straight up, I'm running a 6-figure art business right now that's purely based on email growth, right? We have an email list that's around the 17,000 people mark. We're growing that list every single year, every single month, every year, because that's how we're growing our business. My goal for this business this year is to do $250,000 in online sales. Right? And that's going to come from that email list. So if people are telling you email doesn't work anymore, that's garbage. I can show you the stats. It's absolute garbage. We grow our email list, we grow our business. Okay? So if you don't invest in growing your email list, right? And there's two ways you can invest. And I talked about that a little bit in my last webinar. You can either invest money or you can invest time. You can invest both, there's no question, but you have to invest one or the other. Okay, so if you've got no money, you have to invest time. If you've got money, it's better to invest that certainly in the short to medium term, because the money allows you to leverage your time for other things that are just as important. But you need to grow your email list. Okay, so you need a simple but proven marketing plan strategy to win more clients, right? Number one, you need to build your email list. Okay. Once you've got an email list growing, then you need to focus on building relationships with those people, right? They need to get to know you and your art. The more time you focus on building those relationships with those people, the shorter it's going to take for you to start building your business and start getting sales, right? Focus on the relationships, build those relationships, start getting fans, start getting raving fans, okay? A raving fan is someone who goes, oh my God, I just bought this thing from John. I absolutely love it. And they tell all their friends. That's a raving fan, okay? The only way you're going to turn your email list into fans and raving fans and customers and collectors is for them to get to know you, okay? So be yourself, get to know them, and help people get to know you, okay? And then step 3 is build a business. Now, a lot of people go, I want to build my business straight up. I'm going to start selling straight up. It's not how it works. You need to build the email list. You need to build the relationships. Then you will build the business. Okay? The business is the sales, but you need the other 2 things to get to that point. Okay? How we build email lists is really, really simple. Okay? We do a monthly giveaway. Whether it's a print or an original. Sometimes I've worked with a musician, so we gave away some custom clothing that featured his work. There's lots of things you can do, but a simple monthly giveaway is the hook to get people to join your email list. Okay, you don't need to give away an expensive item to get results. That's the really strange thing about this. I've seen really good results from a $30 calendar. Okay, so it doesn't need to be an expensive item, but what it needs to be is something that represents you and your art well, right? So a picture, there's a picture here on the screen. It's one of my photographs from a particular local beach. If that's what your market is, share that picture, right? You share something that you know that people will like, that represents you and your work, right? The thing that we do that's different, and this is how we get the results, because you'll come and say, okay, John, I really want to grow my email list, but I've got 50 followers on Instagram, I've got 100 followers on Facebook, and I've got 20 people on my email list. How do I do that? And this is how we do it. We run ads targeting new people, right? So the new people are people who are interested in work that's similar to yours, but they've never heard of you before. It's that simple, right? So we're just trying to find people who've never heard of you before, but like things that's like yours, like your work, okay? And then we target them with Facebook ads, and we get them to sign up to the email list by going into the print giveaway draw. It's that simple, okay? There's no secret sauce in that. The difference is setting up ads on Facebook for a newbie, for a beginner, is an absolute minefield. Everything, some of you might use Photoshop. I use Photoshop as a photographer. Photoshop's really important to me. But every single thing you can do in Photoshop, there are 3 or 4 or 5 ways to do it, okay? And Facebook ads are a bit the same. So if I just said, go and do this for an ad, chances are you're going to muck it up. Or if you try and do it yourself, you're going to muck it up. You need to work with someone who understands Facebook ads in particular, okay? It doesn't have to be me, but if you're going to run ads on Facebook to generate leads, don't do it yourself. You will just fail. And I did this myself. Like, I literally spent probably 20 grand on Facebook trying to work out how to get ads to work for me and my business, right? It's a lot of money. Today, I have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, not just my own money, certainly other people's money, because I'm working with clients, right? But I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars running thousands of ads. So I can look at an ad in a few seconds and go, okay, no, we need to tweak that, we need to tweak that, and we need to do this, right? It's something that comes with experience, right? So you don't have to waste the money that I wasted in the past trying to work it out. You can invest time or money and get someone like us to help you do it, okay? So relationships. Now, it's probably the word I say most in all of my webinars. Relationships, relationships, relationships. It's the thing that people get stuck on because they think it's going to happen overnight, right? It takes a minimum 6 to 12 months to build the right level of trust. It takes consistency, daily social posts, weekly emails, and focusing on the people, not the numbers. Don't get distracted by the numbers. People go, what's your open rate? Oh, honestly, I don't look at the open rate most of the time. What I judge a quality email on is if I send an email out this morning, I want to see 10, 15 emails in my inbox by the end of the day, right? From people replying to that email. Or I want to see sales coming through my inbox as well, right? That's the judgment for me on whether the email I sent was good or not. Okay, am I getting engagement or am I getting sales? Okay, now you're not going to get sales when you first start, so don't expect that. So your question is, are you getting engagement? And initially you might have a really small list, so you might only get one reply, right? That's okay. So next time you want 2 replies, right? Well, you just want to build that up slowly. It's not going to double, right? But it's going to increase slowly over time. As you grow your email list, those things are going to grow, okay? Once you're building relationships, then you can build sales. You can't build sales without relationships, but it's really, really important. You've had your website for 3 months, you haven't sold a thing, right? My question to you then is, okay, 3 months is not long enough. 2, how big is your email list? When was the last time you emailed them? Are you emailing them every week? No. So if those are the things, then you're not doing what you need to do to get to the sales point. Now, artists think that they can't sell or that they don't have great work, right? It's not true. It's simply they're not patient or persistent enough. The first 2 years in this business, when you're selling online, is the hardest 2 years you will ever have in your life. Okay? I mean that. Now, I don't care, and this is the other thing which I think a lot of artists struggle with. Right? I have artists come to me and they say, listen, I've been selling 6 figures for the last 30 years doing art shows. Right? So they're an established artist. They're selling lots and lots of stuff face to face, but they've never built an email list. So all of those people that they sold to at the art shows aren't on an email list, so they're not engaging with them regularly. They're starting from scratch. Right? You're not an established artist if you're starting online for the first time today. Okay, it doesn't matter how much you've sold in the past. It's not going to help you online. The only way that's going to help you is your art doesn't suck. It gives you the confidence to push forward. But the reality is, until you start building your email list, building your relationships online, you're not going to sell. Okay, so you've just got to push through. Right? You've got to grow your email list. And these are a couple of clients that we worked with in the past. Grew her list from 500 to 3,000 in less than a year and more than doubled the revenue. Right? Another 3 times the traffic. Email list is growing from 4 to 5,500, and the income was 5 times previous year. All right. Now, that's not going to happen for everybody, but there is opportunities to grow, but you've got to be patient and you've got to be persistent, okay? And that patience and persistence is one thing that we really struggle with as artists, okay? Now, I said, I think this is really, really important. You need to schedule your Facebook. You need to post on Facebook every day, right? Now, if you sit down once a day and write a Facebook post, it might take you 15, 20 minutes, might take you half an hour, right? And it really is a blockage in your day when you have to think about doing that every day. So what I suggest is that you, instead of doing it on a daily basis and sitting down and going, oh my God, how do I do this? Is that once a week or once every 2 weeks, you sit down and you do scheduling of a week's worth of posts, okay? And you schedule those posts, and then you can get sending a post down to a few minutes, okay? So scheduling a week's worth of posts should only take you an hour, right? It might take you a little bit longer the first couple of times, but it should only take you an hour. Now, there are lots of tools that help you schedule, right? But this tool is free and it's already part of Facebook. So there's no penalty for using it. It's called Facebook Creator Studio. If you're not using it, use it. The link is in the chat. Facebook Creator Studio is a really, really cool tool to help you schedule, and it's free, right? You can schedule Facebook and you can schedule Instagram. I've sent you the Facebook link, okay? But there is an option to do Instagram as well if you want to do that. But focus on Facebook. For 99% of artists, that's the place to be, okay? So that's a free tool. You can use that to grow. Well, it's not even to grow. What it does is helps you save time, all right? So you're doing a week's worth of posts in an hour once a week rather than sitting down every day and then going, oh my God, what am I going to write? And you waste a lot more time when you try and do it every day. So schedule a week's worth of posts at a time or 2 weeks worth of posts at a time. So much easier. Okay, so what is another tool that we like? So we use a tracking tool, okay? Now the tracking tool is it's a little bit complicated for some people, but what it allows you to do is I like to know where my traffic's coming from. Now, art storefronts, if you're on art storefronts, they have some really, really good stats in the system, right? Now, the stats are fantastic, but let's just say that most of your traffic is coming from Facebook and you don't know why they're coming from Facebook. Now, this tracking tool allows you to tag your posts with a little bit of extra information. So it can be a Facebook post, right? But you could put some specific information in there. We use it for when we do ads, so we can see which ad is performing better so that we can concentrate the money on the thing that's getting the best possible results, okay? So this is just a spreadsheet. Please do not use this spreadsheet in existing format. Go to this link and make a copy, okay? Don't edit this one. Make a copy for yourself, okay? So this link allows you to tag your link. So you drop in a URL, you edit the information beside it so that you can say, okay, whether it's a MailChimp email or a Facebook post, whatever like that, you can change all of those pieces of information. And then at the end, it spits out a new link, which has got the tagging information in. So when you post on Facebook, for instance, you would use that tag link and put it on Facebook. And then when you look at your data in your Google Analytics, or if you're on Art Storefront, then in your stats, you can actually see that people came to your website because of that post or because of that ad or whatever it is that you're doing. Same goes for MailChimp. If you're using MailChimp for sending out your emails, you can add a tagged link into here's a picture. If you're interested in it, go to the store, here it is. And you can add a tag link so you can see that people came from that MailChimp email. So it is, for a lot of people, it's a little bit complicated initially, but it is a really good way to understand where your traffic's coming from long term, okay? That's a free tool. You're welcome to use that spreadsheet, but before you start playing with that spreadsheet, make a copy, okay? And use your own copy. Don't edit that one, because otherwise you're editing it for everybody, okay? And the other free tool, which, I've already talked about it today, and I'm going to post the information again in the chat, is our Facebook group, right? So the Facebook group, you can join that for free. You can see all of my past webinars, any future webinars, they will go into the Facebook group as well. All the recordings go into the Facebook group. So if you're looking for something or you really want to watch a video again, they're all in the Facebook group, okay? So I really encourage you to join the Facebook group, because it is a really good place for you to get information, for you to watch past webinars, or even if you miss, let's just say you missed the last 15 minutes of this webinar, it gives you the opportunity to come back and finish it and watch it later, okay? So join the Facebook group. That's really easy, okay? And certainly there's support in the Facebook group. If you've got questions, ask the questions, and I can help, or other people in the group might be able to help you. So what do you need to be able to sell art online today? I think you need 3 things. Okay, you need a website that has e-commerce functionality. that you control. And what I mean by that, like Fine Art America is a great place for you to sell your art, right? But you only get a commission off the sale and you don't know who the customers are. So you can't market to those customers. So I want a website with e-commerce that you can control the customers, okay? You know who the customers are, but it has to have e-commerce. So people need to be able to buy easy, pay with PayPal, pay with a credit card, whatever it is, right? So Shopify, certainly, Art Storefronts is a art dedicated platform, WordPress, Squarespace. It doesn't matter what you use, but it needs to have e-commerce functionality and you need to be able to control the customers. Number 2 is you need a CRM, which is a CRM, customer relationship manager, piece of software. Basically, something like MailChimp. You don't have to use MailChimp. You can use whatever software you like. I'm on Art Storefronts. When you're on Art Storefronts, MailChimp integrates perfectly with Art Storefront. So for the majority of people on Art Storefronts, they use MailChimp. Some people don't like it. That's okay. I think at the end of the day, you need to have an email list and you need to have it in a piece of software like MailChimp. It doesn't have to be MailChimp. You can use whatever you like. Okay. Finally, you need a Facebook business page. Right? Because this is one of the ways you're going to communicate with your audience. But if you've got a business page, then you can also advertise as well. Okay. And that advertising is how we help grow email lists. Okay. So that's the absolute basics. You don't need any more than that. Everything else on top of that is bells and whistles. Yes, it's nice to have, but it's not essential to be able to build a business and get started online. Okay. So if you're interested and you're not there yet, that's the place to start. Check out Art Storefronts. I used to be on Shopify. I didn't like Shopify in the fact that I wasn't able to customize the store as much as I would like for art sales. Okay, I love Art Storefronts. I think it's a really good platform. There's, like every platform, there's ups and downs. There's no question about that. But at the end of the day, you need to find a platform that you're comfortable with. Okay. So this is how we help artists, okay? This is what we do to help our clients grow their business. We help you focus on the stuff that really matters, taking away a lot of the noise and helping you focus on the long-term strategies that will work for you and your business, okay? We don't complicate things with a million things in the calendar. All right. Like I said before, and this is what I tell all of our clients, you have to do 2 things every week. You need to be doing a Facebook post every single day, and you need to be sending an email once a week, at the worst every second week. Okay. They're the 2 essentials. Yes, you will run sales throughout the year, but we only run 3 or 4 sales maximum in a year. We've just finished Mother's Day. We're planning another one in August, and then we will do Black Friday, and that's it. Okay, 3 sales a year. You don't need to be doing regular sales. Just pick some major events, make one up if you have to, but do sales less often and do them well. Okay. These are the strategies. This isn't something that I made up that's really cool and I'm just telling you about. This is exactly the same strategies that I'm using in my 6-figure business today, right? We're selling over 100 grand right now. We're on track to do 200 to 250 this calendar year in online art sales, right? So this is stuff I know works. This is what we do to grow our business. So it's not something that's really cool that I think is wonderful to tell people about. It's actually what we do in our business. And what we learn in our business, we then help our clients do by changing the way we do things to improve. Okay, so we're always improving. We're not a big business. It's me and my assistant, Fred. That's the entire business. Okay, so you're not dealing with 10 different people. You're dealing with 2 people only. Okay. We take the fuss out of building your email list so you can focus on the people behind the numbers, because it's the people that matter, not the numbers. It's the people. The people as the thing that's going to help you grow your business. Okay. So we help you focus on the relationships rather than trying to work out how to grow your fans and your following. Okay. That's how we make your life easier. Now, finally, if this sounds like something you need some help from, you'd like to work with us, or you want to ask some questions about how we work, right? I love answering those questions. The best thing to do is to book a call. Okay. Now we have what we call an artist suitability call. The great thing about that is the artist suitability call is free, right? We talk for 20 minutes about you and your business. And if I believe I can help you, then I will tell you that, and I'll tell you about how we help. Okay. If I don't think I can help you, then I will tell you that too. Okay. If you're not ready, I'll tell you that. I'll tell you the things that I think you should do before we start working together. But if you're interested, book a call, artist suitability call. I have a limited number of calls every month that we do to take on new clients. Okay. So if you're interested, book a call today. I will send this out in an email as well, but if you're interested, just let me know and we go from there. So thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate it. Today I'm running ahead of schedule, which is nice. It doesn't always happen. So thank you very much for joining me. Really appreciate your time, and I hope you have a wonderful week. And I look forward to hearing from some of you soon, and certainly hope you join me again in 2 weeks for my next webinar. Thank you so much. Have an awesome day. Bye-bye.